The college football experience MAC coach rankings. Yes, episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Edge Boost, the bank account that is built for bettors. Sign up today, edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN to get a $25 deposit bonus. Yes, jump on over there, edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. And remember, as always, folks, too, let it ride.
Hey everybody, Jim McMahon here, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Yes. Woo! Welcome to the college football experience on a Friday afternoon. MAC coaching preview or ranking episode. We will get to the previews. Remember, folks, we are breaking down all 136 teams, 136 episodes, win totals, over unders. We're covering it all like we all do on the college football experience. So subscribe, tell a friend, and obviously you too. I highly recommend watching this. YouTube.com/the college experience. Jump on over there, hit that like and subscribe there as well. And we got the College Baseball World Series going on. It's hard to do an episode, but we wanted to get this thing done before next week. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, that's fair. My name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
He's the kind of guy that would drink a gallon of gasoline so he could piss in your campfire. You could drop this guy off at the Arctic Circle wearing a pair of bikini underwear without his toothbrush, and tomorrow afternoon he's going to show up at your poolside with $1 million smile and a fistful of pesos.
Oh, yeah. Love me some action. 13 teams this year for 1 year before Northern Illinois trots off to the Mountain West because DeKalb has a ton of mountains. No, that's not accurate, but they are going to the Mountain West. I am joined by my co-host. He is hopefully you've heard us or him and us on the college basketball experience. Give it up for former staffer at Austin Peay with the Governors, South Carolina with the Gamecocks, West Virginia with the Mountaineers, Ryan McIntyre, a.k.a. Moneyline Mac. How are you, brother?
Doing good. Yes, this is my league. I am Mac, and this is Maction, baby. Tuesday night, let's go, and Wednesday nights.
Mac tonight! Come on, make it Mac tonight!
You heard it right there, Mac tonight, and wow, I mean, just it's tough. I hope the people appreciate that. I was gonna go to this. I'm an East Carolina fan. They're playing Florida right now. We got the bases loaded up to nothing. And I stay committed to doing this MAC episode, but I'm having a hard time focusing here. But check out the college baseball experience for more on that. And what a great time of year this is with the college baseball. So make sure you check that out. The sport's growing. It's kicking ass. I know your Mountaineers are rained out currently, but hoping you stick it to Kentucky, right? Yeah. Also, we have some news before we dive into the Maction. More news from
oh God, Sankey.
They have upped it to a $500,000 fine if you storm the fields or court in SEC play. Why? I try to not have anger towards people, right? I try. Sometimes I'm like, man, this shit Greg Sankey's doing, I want to fucking choke him, right? And then I'm like, Colby, relax, man. Relax. If you're in the shoes, maybe you would do the same. But then he keeps pushing it. I mean, at first it was the criteria for their scheduling and all this other bullshit. Now this? I mean, what a joke. The sport, part of the sport and the fun of it is storming the court. Part of and storming the field. That is part of the experience. That is the college experience. That is why the game is always going to be better than the pros. It doesn't matter if it's baseball, basketball, or football. Is because there's soul in the sport. There's soul. You can go, what are we doing? I see he wants to make it the NFL/NBA, and it's driving me fucking crazy. Your thoughts on Greg Sankey's recent upping the ante on court storming, Mac?
Yeah, Sankey is turning into that friend or chick that you give an inch and they take a mile, and they keep trying to take a mile over and over and over again. Why? What does that do? Like what I still go back and I feel like I'm a broken record, and I know you say the same. Well, what is the purpose of banning the court storm or field storming? Nobody gets hurt. It's just and it's the college experience, and we keep losing track of what makes college athletics great. College football, college basketball, the fan, the traditions, the craziness. If you take that away, then it's the NFL or NBA, and we don't want that. Nobody wants it. If you want to watch that, there's plenty of networks that cover those sports, and I'm not the biggest fan of it. I know you're not, but some people like that. That's their cup of tea. We like this cup of tea. Stop fucking with it.
Exactly, and like the sport is what's great is you could have a big city team like USC.
Yes.
Go in to take on. Well, they used to before these fucking TV execs. They'd go to little old Pullman, Washington, and play. Where you can go catch a ball game for $15, $20. A beer is probably $6, $7. The opposite of the NFL or the NBA or whatever the fuck.
Yes.
And you could feel a part of being in that town. Small town college football against big town. This is what's great about America. There's no border in the way of that. Like there is, unfortunately, if you're a fucking, I don't know, if you're in Des Moines, you've been waiting for a pro team forever, right? But that's the beauty of the sport, and we're just gutting it. And that time you do beat USC, or that time, and that's just one example. That time you do beat Texas, right? And you're whoever, you should be able to storm because, God damn it, this is awesome. You've had the big boys that spend all the money coming to your town. Like Tennessee had gotten beat by Alabama 20 straight years. It was some shit like that, and they finally got it done in high drama. And they took the fucking goalpost to the river. And that's a moment they'll remember for the rest of their fucking life. Right? They're going to remember that thing for the rest of their life. And Alabama is offended by that. And they reach out to Greg Sankey. And that's what started that. Is that Tennessee Take Me to the River shit, which we have a shirt in the store, SGPN store. Go check that shit out. Take Me to the River. It's still up. That, though, is what they're ruining. They're ruining the great experience. At ECU, I remember storming the field. All right, we stormed the field at NC State, a road game, right? We took down the goalpost, right? That thing is forever. And like, I'll be on my deathbed being like, fuck yeah, that was awesome. What are we doing, Sankey? You have a history. See, Tony Petitti has a history as a TV exec. Sankey was in college administrations for years. So you should get it. You should get it more, but you are from Syracuse. And Bob Costas is stink eye and all that bullshit. So I don't know, but just it kills me. It kills me to see this. And what I would do if I was one of these SEC schools is break the rules and then just do a GoFundMe. I guarantee you this, man. I guarantee you this. If Vanderbilt beats Alabama or whoever, I think LSU comes to Vandy. I think this year off the top of my head, if they beat LSU, they should storm. They should fucking storm, and I guarantee you this: you do a GoFundMe, you'll probably get extra money. You'll probably get extra money from the fan. I don't know about Vandy because I know it's a smaller enrollment, but all those major schools, but Vandy's got money.
Exactly.
They got that Anderson Cooper blood money. All right, so Sankey, stop it again. Just stop it. All right, let's get to action, coaches. I feel like every time, last 3 episodes, you just open up shitting on Greg Sankey, but he deserves it. He deserves it.
Hey, what about their little manual guide that said how grueling their schedule is, and it was like statistics over the last 10 to 15 years. It's just like, oh my god.
What did I just say? I just said, last night's episode, or 2 days ago's episode. They're saying these stats while they can.
Yeah.
Because 15 years they dominated while they were cheating, while a lot of other conferences weren't cheating, or if they were, it was a team or two. Not, and they're doing this because they know the parity. They've only been in one national championship over the past 3 years. I mean, and they're still lobbying for Alabama to get in the playoffs, which is fucking hilarious. Where in their criteria to talk about a 3-win Georgia State team beating Vanderbilt when, say, Alabama could not? And I don't even think Alabama ever had the lead in that game. No. I think Vanderbilt went wire to wire.
They beat the shit out of them.
Yeah, it was like wire to wire. They beat them. So, maybe, and by the way, shout out to the chat. Come be a part of the chat. YouTube.com/The College Experience. Greg Natal there saying he wore his Pick Dundee shirt to the bar this past week. Some guy saw it and he said, "I'm going to call you Dick Dundee." You got to retort with Big Dick Dundee. Get the fuck out of my face, you little gnat. All right. Shout out to Red Wine saying nobody wants the NBA WWE bullshit. We got Lyndon Juden Kelly saying, do we have Pick Dundee storming or do you have court storming t-shirts? Yes, we do. In the store. Yeah, just go to store.sportsgamblingpodcast.com or just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com and click on store, or you can get the SGPN app, which is free to download in the App Store and Google Play Store. But yes, let's and shout out to Red Wine also saying, give the people what they want. College sports is all about the college experience. College students doing college student things. Yeah, and they pay for that shit. I mean, how much is enrollment to these universities? How much is a fucking textbook? I tell this story all the time. I went to a class once where I bought the textbook for like $500. It was like, honestly, like $400, something crazy. And the first day of class, my teacher's like, yeah, I don't believe in that textbook. And I'm like, fuck me. I go to the bookstore to return it. I had it for maybe, 3 hours. I used it for 3 hours. That'll be $35. What? What do you mean? I just bought it for $400 like a week ago. Never used it. Yeah, it's used now though, $35. Fuck you. All right? You pay for that storming experience. You should have that experience. Shout out to Trick or Treat and Boff Dre there. But yes, let's jump into Maction, man. And how did you find this one before we go into the slides? How did you find the conference is kind of in this, you have a couple, blue blood coaches that I feel like, when I say blue blood, they've been in the MAC for a little bit. And you have a lot of newcomers. Obviously, Tim Albin left Ohio for Charlotte. And then Kenny Burns got fired at Kent State after winning just one game in 2 years. I think those were the big... But there's been some turnover. Maurice Lindquist was hired at Alabama, a year and a half ago. But
yeah,
how'd you find the overall exercise of doing the MAC?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. You got kind of the big three there that have been there over almost a decade now. Chuck Martin over there at Miami of Ohio, and then Jason Candle at Toledo, and then you got Chris Creighton at Eastern Michigan. It's hard to believe he's been there 11 years now. And then you got Hammock, who has been in Northern Illinois before COVID. So the rest of it, a lot of turnover. It is weird seeing UMass in this league.
They were once in the MAC. They got kicked out.
Yes.
And then they got invited back to the party. And this is a classic thing. It's like UMass was once in this league. They were getting destroyed. And they're like, you know what? Get the fuck out of here. Go be independent.
Yeah.
Then they call them back. And by calling them back, Northern Illinois is looking at the MAC, who, by the way, Northern Illinois once was in the MAC, left, came back. Now they're leaving. You're like, oh, you brought this bitch back to the party. I told you I don't like this bitch. Now I'm going to the Mountain West. So all that's happening, but we get one more year of UMass in the conference, or what UMass with Northern Illinois. So 1 year of that. So enjoy it if you're in Amherst or in DeKalb. And shout out to Dan, the man.
He loves his action.
Dan Savage is the fucking man, folks. If you're a Toledo Rocket fan, you got to check out his podcast. Give him a follow on Twitter.
He's got to be high on my list.
I don't have his Twitter handle in front of me. If you could drop that in there, I will gladly plug that, Dan. But yes, shout out to the MAC is, to me, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing because they hadn't really fucked with the formula much. Yeah, you had UMass in there for a little bit. You had Marshall in there for a little bit, even UCF at one point. But you still have your core. Your core has been in there for a while.
Yep.
And I can dig that. So, and the conference been around, I think, since 1946. So let's jump into it. What's up?
One bad thing with this league, the conference championship game.
Oh, good God. Why?
It's such a great league, except for one little thing. And it used to be on a Friday night. At least it would be on a Friday night. Now it's Saturday at noon in that dumb dome at the Lions. And
no one goes to that fucking
nobody.
Game. Why do you have such a great league with such great environments, and then you have your championship held in that shit? I mean, you have Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium within that. You could even do the Cleveland Browns Stadium. You could even do Soldier Field because you have, I guess Northern Illinois is leaving, but there are some great stadiums in the proximities there that you could use. You don't. You phone it in, all right? And I'm sick of that. And you are right, Mac, by calling that out because that needs to change. When will the Mac listen? Nobody wants to go to, honestly, Ford Field is actually one of the stadiums I learned that I can't stand. I mean, I knew growing up that I didn't like dome football because I loved playing outdoors. But I went to a Lions game at Ford Field, and I was like, this is the boringest fucking football experience of my life. Honestly, I went to State Farm, the Cardinals stadium, and I went to the Lions, and those two just solidified the corporate terribleness of an indoor stadium that is just nothing to do with the sport. Was never intended to be indoors. And there's just a feeling of nothing, feeling of corporate trash to me. It's like going to it's just soulless. Everything about it is soulless from the game.
Well, and what's crazy about the MAC playing there is what we think of Tuesday and Wednesday night. It's 30 degrees out. It's crazy snow elements.
It's fucking beautiful. And they do that.
It's MAC shit. And it's just snowing. And then they go to the dome. It's like, what the hell did you play in those elements for the last 2 months? And you should have just played all the games in the dome at that point.
Well, the irony is all their stadiums are better than Ford Field. The Glass Bowl is light years better than Ford Field. Peden Stadium is light years better than Ford Field. You have good stadiums within there. Give it to the best team with the best record. By the way, Dan the Man is on Twitter at DanSavage_live. Also, his podcast is, I think, MBG Launchpad. Good. Check out the Launchpad podcast. Toledo Rocket fans, you're gonna love it. Even you filthy Bowling Green fans out there you want to know about the enemy. You got to listen in, man. You got to listen in. All right. I saw Hunt for Red October. All right. You got to be listening in and trying to cross wires, pick up some shit. Look, we're going to dive into this. But before we do that, I want to let you know that the college football experience is brought to you by, us. Yeah, we're a part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. And the SGP guys are going to be ripping packs live on air next Monday night. They'll be breaking a case of Panini Prims and Daps. And you can get 10% off your favorite team with the promo code SGPN. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/break to get in on the action. Once again, that's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/break. All right, we are back and we are ready to talk Maction, and that is why I recommend the YouTube. Look at this slick slide, if I may say so myself.
Plug it.
Yes, get on over there, youtube.com/the college experience. As look, we're gonna start, and if you haven't caught our other episodes, we've done this for every other conference, and we go from what we rank as worst to first in a way. So with that, at number 13, pick Dundee has Mark Carney of Kent State. I know in other episodes I said you're better off. I had some coaches with zero coaching experience over coaches with experience. And I believe sometimes the optimism of the unknown is better than knowing that this coach will fumble this. But with Mark Carney, I have no idea if he's going to be good or not, but I can tell you this, not necessarily sure he was that qualified. Right? I mean, this is something where Kenny Burns got fired. He was the OC at Kent State last year. Now, their offense was fucking horrible last year, so I don't know that he really deserved to be the head coach. But because of great circumstances, and this is what's great about life, is you never know when you'll get that opportunity. So, Mark, I am rooting for you, brother. I know you played quarterback at Fordham. All right, you and Vince Lombardi share the fact that you are Fordham Rams. However, though, I have to rank you here because I don't believe they would have hired you had this happened in December. I believe they would have went out and got other coaches. But having said that, this is your time to stick it to them and fucking make a bowl, win some games. But I have to have them ranked at number 13. You at number 13. Joe Moorhead. I was surprised at this, buddy. You got to explain yourself to me a little bit. I know Akron's been dog shit, but I was a little surprised that you have Mark Carney ahead of Joe Moorhead. So either you had a few too many Molsons or explain yourself.
Well, I went with the unknown over what I've seen from Moorhead at Akron in 3 years. Although I will say a little bit of a step forward last year, but 8-28. I feel like you should be able to flip it quicker in the MAC than he's been able to do, especially with the portal era. And they've gotten absolutely drilled in some of these losses. So he was good at Fordham, but that feels like almost a lifetime ago now, over 10 years ago. So I did go with Moorhead below Carney. I went with the unknown over what I've seen from Moorhead in 3 years. So I guess I'll have some Kent State fans because they hate Akron.
There you go. Red White's talking about ripping packs. Yeah, I think it's packs of cards. We read that ad. I don't know what a Panini Prim is, but damn it, some people do. Joe Moorhead at number 13 for Moneyline Mac. At number 12 for me is, I have a hard time pronouncing this guy's name.
So do I.
But UMass pulled the plug on Donnie Brown this past season, and they hired Rutgers defensive coordinator Joe Harasimic.
Shiano, baby.
Look, yeah, I mean, Shiano, I think, is a very good coach. I think he's done great things but I also think this guy was the head coach at Maine. And he did have he took them to the FCS playoffs, but I don't know what to think of it because I thought Brown's team was getting more competitive. Now they still had some blowout losses. So it would have been nice to get a third season of Don Brown, but they punted on that. But I mean, this might work. He's a young guy. He knows the Northeast. He's from Springfield, Massachusetts. He coached at Maine. He coached at Rutgers. Probably plugged into the pipeline. He was at Minnesota for a little bit. Actually, he was at Minnesota when they had a really good season as a D-backs coach. I just don't know. He's 20-15 as a head coach, and Maine was a pretty good program prior to him. So I don't know how much to deduce from that. So I think right now it's fair to rank him 12th. Doesn't mean he's a bad coach. It means you just got to prove it to me. At number 11 for Moneyline Mac is Mark. I'm sorry. At number 12 for Moneyline Mac, I forgot there's 13 teams. Is Mark Carney. You gave Carney that love. Talk about your boy, Mark Carney.
Yeah, I'll be on the over this year for Kent State. Let's go. What's it going to be? Half a win?
I'm about to say, good luck. Good luck. I don't know about that.
I was laughing because I was going over Moorhead's wins in his time at Akron, and it's like it's either all FCS teams and then Kent State. So, yeah, I mean, Carney, I was with you. I kind of was surprised he got the job, especially because he was with Kent State while they've been absolutely awful the last couple of years. And but
it's got to be a 1-year deal. This is your chance.
Yeah. It's he's from Cleveland. He's a local guy. I'll be rooting for him.
I'll tell you this, in our Royal Rumble rankings, this motherfucker is pretty high up there, man. This dude will punch you in your face, it looks like.
Maybe that's why I couldn't put him last. Is I'm like, oh, come on. He'll whip somebody's ass.
Yeah, I mean, this dude, he definitely looks like he's not going to put up with your bullshit.
Yeah.
Mark Carney at number 12 for Moneyline Mac. Big year for him to prove it and shut us idiots up like old Pick Dundee. Next up at number 11 for me is Mike Yermovich. Honestly, I wanted to rank him higher because I was actually, as someone that hosts the FCS College Football Experience, I was very impressed with what he did with Butler. He came into Butler after being at St. Francis, where by the way, he did very good his final couple of years there at St. Francis. But at Butler, he really turned that corner there in the Pioneer League. I know his overall record is 56-56, but to me, this is a classic case. Go look when he was at St. Francis, 2-9, 1-9, 3-8, then 7-4, then back to 3-8, and then boom, he got it from there. 7-4, 10-3, 7-4, 7-4, 9-3. So sometimes it pays off to be patient, and St. Francis was, and I feel like whatever he has learned over those years, he's turned that corner, and it's an exciting hire, I think, for Ball State. So I wanted to rank him higher, but I had to right now just give him 11th or 12th, and I even struggled with that. I just felt the Butler job was so impressive. They don't do scholarships there, so it's like,
yep,
that was very impressive to me what he did at Butler. You at number 11 went with Brian Smith of the Ohio Bobcats. They're obviously Brian Smith. And I'll tell you my logic for having him higher in a second, but why'd you have Brian Smith at that level?
Yeah. So, just like Carney, he's really has very limited head coaching experience. It's only one game, the bowl game. So, but I mean, his stops as a coordinator were good. Wazoo, Ohio. And he played at Hawaii as well as a long snapper and center. So I like that they promoted within because they have good continuity at Ohio year in and year out. It's just a good program. And I'm looking forward to seeing this era, but I just ranked him and Carney here at the bottom just because they really have no head coaching track record.
Yeah, and I think that's the hard part with this league is this year there's a few coaches that are starting off. So you kind of gotta you have him at number 11. I have him at number 10. And my logic was this. I think he has a better resume than the other guys. First off, he was the offensive coordinator at Ohio. Ohio hadn't won a MAC championship since the 60s. And last season they got that done. Prior to that, Brian Smith worked with my boy.
Yeah, he's a Leach guy.
Nick Rolovich, Mike Leach. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was with Rolo in Hawaii as well. And I believe he was with my guy June Jones as well. A bunch of friends of the program. He was also with Dennis Erickson at Oregon State. I mean, the guy has a decent. I mean, look at those coaches he's worked under: Tim Albin, Rolovich, Leach, June Jones, Dennis Erickson. I mean, that's getting it fucking done. He might have even been with my boy Jerry Glanville too for a year. Man. So I mean, maybe I'm biased because all those guys have been on the show, and I'm like, I got to put this guy high. They might be listening, but I think you get a MAC championship, that they hadn't had since the '60s. That was my solidifying that, and the offense was. And don't forget, they lost Curtis Rourke and these are the breaks to Indiana, and they still won the MAC championship. So, well done, Brian. At number 10. For Moneyline Mac is Lance Taylor, the former Alabama Crimson Tide player or coach, I believe. Tell me why you had Lance Taylor at number 10.
I think that's a nice spot for him. I mean, they did take a nice little jump this last year, going from 4 wins to 6 wins. But I would like to see it another year. Kind of another unproven guy, 10-15 overall, but it feels like he does have the program somewhat headed in the right direction. Now he did a good job last year of beating the really bad teams like Kent and Akron. I want to see another year from Lance, and then I can bump him up a little bit more on this list, I think.
Yeah. I'll save my comments for Lance Taylor when I get to him. But yeah, Moneyline Mac having him at number 10. Folks, want to tell you that the college football experience Mac coaching ranks episode is brought to you by Edge Boost. Yes, Edge Boost, the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. There's no usage fees, no minimums, earn cash back rewards, 100% approval rating for all betting deposits. So sign up today, edgeboost.bet with the promo code SGPN. Deposit $25 and Edge Boost will match that deposit. That's edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Love Underdog Fantasy, especially when college football season rolls around. This is the best. All right, college hoops, college football, you can find an edge you can't find elsewhere. Right now, I'm playing everything else, though. I mean, and there's an edge there, too. NBA, NHL, MLB, UFL, shit, CFL. Get it all in. Underdog is fire. It's and look, Underdog's going long for the NBA playoffs with their extender bonus. Hop in game one, and the longer the series goes, the biggest the bonus bets get. It's really cool. So sign up, and when you do, use our promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. That's underdogfantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. All right, we are back talking Mac coaches. And next up at number 9, pick Dundee, Matt Drinkle. And look, all right, I was very excited about this hire when it happened, but he's been hurting my feelings since then. So Matt Drinkle was the offensive coordinator and O-line and tight ends coach at Army over the past 5 years. I'm a big Army fan. I know, Mac, you're a big Army fan. Jeff Monken's the fucking man.
Oh, yeah.
Former Iowa Hawkeye. Matt Drinkle is. I'm excited about the hire. But damn it, he's not bringing the option. I was so bummed at that. I think he's running a variation of stuff, kind of like the I thought Central was going triple, which I think would fuck up the MAC. I am so excited to watch Rice this year because Rice is going triple. But the problem is the AAC has a bunch of triple teams. So I do believe that it won't be as cut. I mean, it'll be cutting edge against like some of those teams, but a MAC team, or like, to me, like, I think a lot of schools, if you're Purdue, the Big Ten, they should be running the triple option. I think fans want to win. I don't agree that the narrative is it's fucking boring. I don't agree with that. Look back. Would you rather have national championships or bowl games year after year? I would take that in a fucking heartbeat. And I'm hoping that I'm wrong, and I'm hoping he runs the full-on triple at Central Michigan. But my feelings were a bit hurt. So I had to rank you at 9th. And I honestly, I thought I might be being generous, because Brian Smith won the MAC last year. He's got experience in the MAC. But yeah, I ranked him at number 9. Moneyline Mac at number 9 had Mike Yurmovich. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I loved what he did at Butler. To your point, they have like no scholarships, and then he goes 23-11, 15-9 in league. And he finally got St. Francis right at the end of his tenure there. So yeah, I like it. I like the trajectory of this hire, and looking forward to this era beginning at Ball State.
Schumann Stadium's going to be rocking this fall. Can't wait. Shout out to Red Wine. Winning is never boring. Exactly. All these coaches need to get that. They need to get, or all these ADs need to get that. Next up at number 8, I have Joe Moorhead. Look, I mean, I don't think he's as bad as you're painting him out to be. This is a guy that he had an 8-win season at Mississippi State, followed by another bowl appearance. I know they had a 6-7 season that year. And I thought last season they took a jump, 4 wins. And one of the things I will say is year 2. Now, I was on the Akron over year 1 and year 2 because I thought it was a really good hire at the time, and I still think it is. But damn, did they lose some close games in the second season. The second season, 3-point loss at Temple, 4 overtime loss to Indiana by a 2-point conversion. The Big Ten school, 3-point overtime loss to Buffalo. right? 7-point loss to Central Michigan. Overtime loss to Chris Creighton in Eastern Michigan, double overtime by a field goal. My point is that was 2 years ago. Last season, 4-8, right? And they did get worked in a few games, like Rutgers put it on them, Ohio State put it on them, South Carolina. What are you doing in the non-con, by the way? Can you help him out a little bit? Ohio State, at Rutgers, at South Carolina. That's not fun. That's not fun. Yeah. But look, they beat Toledo last year. They beat fucking Toledo last year. All right. I think he's got the thing heading in the right direction. I know they have their academic problems right now. Who gives a shit? All right. It is a big year for him, though. And Akron once again made the mistake of firing Terry Bowden. Terry Bowden. Yes. Now that was like 3 coaches ago or 2 coaches ago. But Terry Bowden had done, I thought, a good job at Akron. They gave him that. AD should have to answer to that shit. Yeah, I have him at number 8. So we're 5 spots off on that one. There's your. Some people say, "Oh, you agree on everything." Oh yeah, we're fucking Joe Moorhead here. All right. Mac at number 8 has Joe Harazmik. I don't know how to pronounce this shit.
So the reason I had him a little bit higher, I like their defenses at Rutgers, and he's a Schiano guy. Maybe I'm biased towards Schiano. He also was under Feck at Minnesota. So, and then you look at it as well. I mean, his tenure at Maine was pretty damn good. 10 wins his last year before he got out. I mean, UMass is a hard job. No secret about it. So, if Schiano has a history of getting more out of less, let's see if he can bring that to Amherst now.
Yeah, I mean, this hire might work. Personally, they should have probably kept Mark Whipple because he had that team playing. That schedule was crazy independent.
Oh, God.
But, I mean,
ridiculous.
They almost beat Mizzou. It was like a 1-score game, Mizzou and Mississippi State. Like, they gave them. They put Nandy Isabella in the league and shit. You know, they had some. I thought they really messed up with that. But maybe this hire works. Maybe it works. He knows the Northeast, and I like that. At number 7 for me is Lance Taylor. And I'll be honest, if you go back and listen to when he got hired, I was not very bullish on the hire when it happened. Then you looked at, to me, and I really think you got to be a maniac like us. I thought in year 1, when he went 4-8, they actually were better than I thought they were. Like, they were better than 4-8, in my opinion. And last season, 6-7, you made a bowl. You're heading in the right direction. I did question the Walt Bell hire as OC, but and UMass fans know about him. But also, like, they went 6-7, but man, they were in that Wisconsin game. They fumbled that game away. Their other losses: 7-point loss to Marshall that won the Sun Belt. 2-point loss at Central Michigan, 7-point loss in the bowl game against South Alabama. And that was kind of bullshit because they were playing that at the Crampton Bowl in Alabama. So it was like a road game. I think they're on the right track. I do. And he's been better than what I expected right now. So Lance Taylor will be my 7th ranked coach. Moneyline Mac at number 7 is your boy Matt Drinkle. Army guys, always watching out for Army guys. I get it.
I am disappointed he's not running the triple, but whatever he did at Kansas Wesleyan, he was 42-17 there, and that was just
that is fair.
Yeah. So and now you add that he's got Monken experience the last 5 years. I kind of think he's going to be really good there. I think they're not going to run the traditional triple, but I would have to imagine he's going to bring some form of the triple.
I'm hoping.
It would be stupid not to. I mean, like you said, nobody else runs that stuff in the MAC. Why not be different? Maybe they do it out of the gun a little bit more. I'm not the biggest fan of that. I like the traditional triple option, just like you, but they should definitely do that. Get the chips going in the triple, man.
Why would you ditch it if it's working? You have Army like ranked. Army took Michigan to overtime and Oklahoma to overtime while you were there. Why would you not do it at Central fucking Michigan?
And what'd they go this year? 12-2?
That's what I'm saying. Like, why don't you want to me, it would be a no-brainer of like, I'm doing this. We're going to win a bunch of games.
Well, especially with how cold it gets there.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Anyway, though, we'll see. It'll be interesting to see what he does. I do think they're one of the must-watch teams of this season. Matt Drenkel at number 7. At number 6 for me is Eddie George. Obviously, it's quite a big hire. Not often you get like a fringe Hall of Famer, former Heisman Trophy winner, to be but he's proven it. This is in a similar vein of Deion Sanders at Jackson State. So Eddie George was at Tennessee State, and first year or two, it was like, I don't know, we'll see. But man, he turned the corner last year, got Tennessee State to 9 wins, FCS playoff appearance. I thought they fared well at Montana in a tough spot, at a really tough road game. And who knows Ohio better than Eddie George? A guy that was an Ohio State star. And this is a guy that's won several Doak Walker, Heisman, NFL Rookie of the Year. He's played in the Super Bowl, was a yard away from winning a Super Bowl. Yep. Got his jersey retired at Ohio State. I mean, this is an exciting time, I think, for a Bowling Green fan. Cover your ears, Dan, as a Toledo fan. But it's going to be fascinating to watch. That opening Thursday night, I'm so fascinated by, watching week 1 college football. Thursday night, you have Eddie George's first game. I know they're taking on Lafayette, but that going on the same time Michael Vick and Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Jackson's at Delaware State, Michael Vick's at Norfolk State. So you get 3 former players breaking in, coaching to a certain extent. I know Eddie George was in the FCS, but still exciting to see, and I'm curious to see how he does at Bowling Green. I think it's a decent hire, especially considering the timing of Scotty Loeffler leaving. And to me, it's like, based on what he did at Tennessee State, I'll say it's an upgrade over Loeffler. You at number 6 have the same guy, Eddie George. What was your reasoning?
Yeah, and we have the same 6 in the top 6. So I figured that there's definitely a clear-cut top 6, I think. And then we'll see how we vary in the order. But, yeah, Eddie George coming over. I thought he did a great job at Tennessee State the last couple of years, able to jump up over the 4-year span, 9 wins last year. And like you said, for when we're able to get him, a solid hire here. And he's going to bring energy, being a Buckeye in the state of Ohio. So let the Eddie George era begin, baby.
Yeah. So, yeah, we do have the same. So there's a clear, 6 coaches based off of our expertise. Then after that, it's taboo, it seems like. But the top 6 we have intact, and we will talk about the top 5 next. But before we do that, I want to let the good folks know that the college football experience is brought to you by Rhythm. Yes, our job at SGPN is to help you find the best picks, and now we got a brand new tool that takes that thing to a whole new level. You've heard us talk about Rhythm before, I'm sure. And they just dropped a game-changing new feature called Power Trends, which you got to check out. These are AI-detected patterns where Rhythm's models have consistently won and has a high ROI. To give you an example, think like a strikeout prop that wins 59% of the time when the line and win probability hit a certain range. Power Trends are updated daily and exclusive to Rhythm. No touts, no noise, just clean data-backed bets, baby. Download the Rhythm app. Check out the Power Trends and start betting smarter. You will be. And look, they believe in their product. They're going to give you a 7-day free trial period. SportsGamblingPodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's SportsGamblingPodcast.com/rhythm. All right. Actually, no. I'm sorry. We're also brought to you by Circa. I'm trying to watch the ECU game as this is going on. We're also brought to you by Circa, an ultimate fantasy football giveaway. The Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas is giving away the ultimate fantasy football experience for a 12-person league to draft in Vegas and be treated like VIPs for their stay. This is an awesome thing they're doing here. How about this? A 2-night stay at Circa Resort and Casino for the entire 12-person league. 6 double king rooms. You can hold it, and you're going to be able to hold your draft at a cabana at Stadium Swim. If you haven't seen Stadium Swim, you got to check that out. They're going to also give you a $5,000 food and beverage credit there, limo transportation from the airport, a welcome party at the Legacy Club, a reservation at the world's largest sportsbook, which is inside of Circa, with a $500 beverage credit there, a 2-hour open bar package at the Overhang Bar. I mean, it's going to be just a fucking blast. You got to take advantage, folks. The contest runs from May 5th to June 30th. Here's how you enter. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa. That's CIRCA. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa. And last but not least, we're brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every single sport, including the NHL playoffs, and obviously college football win total season. You can get over there. And for the true degens, the MyBookie money bag is a bundle of fun. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of different locations as well. You can easily deposit, get lightning fast payouts using crypto. So head on over to mybookie.ag. Use the promo code, our promo code, TCESGPN for 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply, of course. Once again, that's mybookie.ag, promo code TCESGPN. All right, we are back talking Maction. Top 5 coaches. Here we go. At number 5 for Pick Dundee is Tommy Hammock. Tommy Hammock just got the biggest win in Northern Illinois history, winning at Notre Dame. The only problem, so I this is an interesting one because like you in that regard, you're like, damn, it's such a huge win. They're gonna have that forever in their boneyard that they have there in DeKalb, but at the same time, this is a guy that was MAC Coach of the Year in 2021, but like I kind of thought last year's team should have won or should have been in content. I mean, they went 8-5, so I don't want to say this, but they didn't win a MAC championship. So that makes it a little tricky. And he's also had 3 losing seasons there. But I mean, I can't get past the fact that he did win at Notre Dame and Boston College the year prior. So you got to have him in the top 4 to me. And had he had another MAC championship, I think I might have had him as essentially 1 or 2. But we'll see. Next year he goes to the Mountain West. Big year for Tommy Hammock. He's doing a good job in DeKalb. So he is my number 5 ranked coach. Moneyline Mac at number 5. Oh, Hammock. Great minds think alike. What was your logic here?
Yeah, and the other thing you like about him is he played there, so he's got a lot of pride in that school at Northern Illinois. So yeah, he won that MAC championship in 2021. The stars aligned that year. Their teams always seem to have a brand of football, physicality, run the ball. I mean, he was a running back there, and then he works for the Ravens and Harbaugh, so he brings a little bit of that too. I'm with you. Last year was a little bit disappointing, especially when you beat Notre Dame, who was the national runner-up and didn't lose a game after that. If only they could play Notre Dame every week, they would win every game. So, yeah, he's done a good job there for the most part, and he's had some big buy-game wins.
Yeah, and folks, shout out to Anders in the chat. He goes, lock up NIU at Maryland in week 2 this year.
Oh,
I don't know if you saw my tweet. Some Maryland podcast or some Maryland fan page on Twitter. Give us a follow on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. But they were saying, we're going to brush. I think their non-con is like Towson, Florida Atlantic, who's breaking in a new coach, and Northern Illinois. And they're like, yeah, we're going to be 3-0 with no question. We'll win. I go, whoa. You're just breezing over NIU. NIU beat Maryland. PJ Fleck was on that team. He was actually college roommates with Thomas Hammock. Tommy Hammock and PJ Fleck beat Maryland at Maryland when they were ranked. In the past, I mean, in my lifetime, it was like 2002 or 3 or something.
Fridge.
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, how are these Maryland fans just chalking that one as a for sure dub? Who the fuck are you, Maryland? All right.
Hey, your coach is Loxley.
I'm like, what's going on? I'm with Anders in the chat here. Give me the points at NIU all day. Might have to sprinkle that money line.
Plus 13.5 is what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Yes. Let's jump in on that action. Tommy Hammock, both of us have at number 5, and at number 4
Lembo
for me is Pete Lembo. Nobody walks into Lembo Field up there in Buffalo, New York. What a great job he did in year 1. Late hire, taking over from Marquise Lindquist as he took the Alabama defensive backs coach position. And Lembo walks in and made Lindquist look like, I mean, that was such a huge upgrade because Lindquist hadn't really been doing great with Buffalo. And Lembo walks in, man, they were very impressive. I'm excited to watch them in the opener against Minnesota this year on that opening Thursday night. But very impressive. And he did a good job at Ball State before that. So I think he's a really good football coach. You could even make the argument, I think, for 1 or 2 with him. So I have Pete Lembo at 4. You at number 4? Okay, we're on the same page again. Pete Lembo at number 4. Your logic.
I mean, he's got over 100 wins as a head coach altogether. I mean, he was good at Elon. He was good at Lehigh. So he's won wherever he's gone. And then going 9-4 at Buffalo, basically doubling what their win total was. I forget what it was, like 3.5, wasn't it?
It was something weak. Maybe 4.5, 3.5, 4.5. I think. Yeah,
so
it was
he
something.
At least doubled it, maybe even close to tripled it. Great job, and they had an identity right from week 1. They played. They were a physical team, and Buffalo hit a home run with this hire, I think.
Damn right, man. Like they passed the eye test to me. Even in their losses, I was impressed.
Yeah, they didn't get blown out really.
Tell me that's gone. Tell me that's gone. Tell me that's gone.
I think it was
that's foul. Fuck. But yeah, Pete Lembo doing a great job at Buffalo. We both have him ranked at number 4. Number 3, I have Jason Candle, and I know Dan's gonna shit on me here, but I know at least that Toledo is the most resourced school in the MAC when it comes to football. Now, he's done an unbelievable job. Don't get me wrong. They won at Mississippi State and whooped their ass last year. And he's 73-40. But the thing is I just think most every Toledo coach kicks ass. It was Matt Campbell before that. I remember back in the 90s when it was with Son Tate and everybody. I just feel like the program is always good. So I don't know how much to put into it. I can tell you this, though. I think I would like more than 2 MAC championships. In a tenure of 9 years, only 2 MAC championships. I know that I'm getting picky here. I still have him ranked 3rd, but I would like a little bit more than that. If you're spending more, he should have more championships, in my opinion. But he's still a very good coach, so I'm not trying to shit on the guy. I just think, is he getting the maximum out of Toledo? And I would ask you that. So, Dan saying, what the Candle is only bad at beating mediocre MAC teams and BG because it's everyone's Super Bowl. But that's an element to coaching though. Gotta get up for those boring games. So yeah, I have Jason Candle at 3, but obviously his track record is pretty fucking fantastic. You at number 3 have Chris Creighton, my boy. What was the reasoning for Creighton at 3?
Yeah, Creighton's a really good coach. I mean, his overall record's not very good, but if you take out the first 2 years, he's been 500, and EMU is a very, very hard job. I guess maybe just the only knock is that outside of 22, I would have liked to see maybe more than just 1 9-win season. It feels like 7 has been the absolute ceiling, but it's a hard-ass job. So, I mean, his teams, I talk about identity. His teams always have an identity. He's going to maximize it. A little worried that maybe the portal era isn't best equipped for him. And maybe that's why they had a little bit of a really down year last year for their standards, missing a bowl game. But he's a good coach. I mean, he's proven it over and over. He was good at Drake as well before that, and Wabash.
Yes. Former quarterback at Kenyon. Who can forget? Also coached in Sweden.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like Mike Leach, right? He's like Mike Leach. Yeah, Chris Creighton getting it done there as Mac's 3rd ranked coach. At number 2 for me is Chuck Martin. Love the fact he wears his vest. But Chuck Martin, you know what? I was a skeptic at one point of this hire. Remember Miami, Ohio was ass before Chuck Martin.
Yeah.
And man, he was 2-10 year 1, 3-9 year 2, 6-7 year 3, 5-7 year 4. And I'm like, man, fire this fucking guy already. I said that, and I'm an idiot. because he answered that with a 6-6 season, but then 8-6. In the COVID year, they were 2-1. I don't know what the fuck to make of that, but then 7-6, 6-7. Then boom, they turned that corner, 11-3, and last year 9-5. And this is a longtime Brian Kelly assistant. He's done a really good job. So yeah, shout out to Chuck Martin. I have him ranked at number 2, and part of the logic here is also he has 2 MAC championships. He is the same as Jason Candle. And he inherited a mess. So I think he deserves to be ahead of Jason Candle. Moneyline Mac at number 2, Chuck Martin, our boy.
Yeah.
What was the logic?
Yeah, I like Chuck Martin a lot. He also has 2 Division II national championships. And so he's been really, really good. And yeah, it took a minute to get it going, but now that he's got it going in the right direction, last 2 years, 20 wins combined, 2 titles. The 1 year was kind of a magical run. They were 8-6 overall and won the MAC championship.
Love the MAC.
I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, I think they were 6-6 headed into the MAC championship, and then won the MAC championship and won the bowl game. But yeah, his team's. Gabbert was there for about half a century. But yeah, Chuck's good, and Chuck ain't afraid to speak his mind either. I like that too.
I like that too. Talking about
last year.
Yeah, they took our kicker. They tampered these bastards. Tell them, Chuck. At number 1 for me is Chris Creighton. I think the Eastern Michigan job, and I know Dan's in the chat saying Creighton's 2-7 against Jason Candle. Martin's 1-2 against Candle, but Candle has the most resources. Candle should win those games. My thing is this when it comes to Chris Creighton. I think Eastern Michigan's I think it's the hardest job probably. Maybe Kent State, but it's right there when they had the biggest bowl drought, I believe, when he took over. And he got them. Now he does need a MAC championship, which I think he's on the Solich train right now. He's got to get the MAC championship coming. But you look at really after year two, throw out the COVID year, because the COVID year, actually, they were good that year. They were I know their record says 2-4, but go look at those box scores. That team was a good team. That was a bowl team in my mind. The worst that he's done besides that's 5-7. And I still say, and by the way, you might know this guy, Kalen DeBoer, who was the OC for Chris Creighton. Chris Creighton discovered him. I think he's just been, and Max Crosby. How about that? Max Crosby just donated a bunch of fucking money to the school. When you start producing pros like that, and that money comes back through the school, I think, man, you got yourself. I cannot believe that he has not gotten a better gig. Now, I hope he's been offered and he wants to stay at EMU, because I think that's great. But man, I think he gets the maximum. And one of the things that I want to talk about with Creighton is when he loses. You look at his overall record and you say, okay, the guy is 57-75 at Eastern Michigan. But remember, this first 2 years he was 3-21. You take out those, I think his record's a lot better. And to me, it's whenever they lose by 3. Right? A lot of times within the conference, their losses are 1-score games. So yes, you want to win those things, but to me, if you're an Eastern Michigan fan, you're in every fucking game. Yeah. Go back, and he's scored some major Power 5 wins in his tenure. They won at Illinois. They won at Purdue. They won at Rutgers. Taking Eastern Michigan and winning all those bye games, to me, is very, very, very impressive. I think honestly, if I had to rank coaches 1 to 136, Chris Creighton's a top 25 coach to me. I think he just gets the maximum out of his roster, and you're right, he gets rated in the portal every year. Because EMU has no NIL, right? He gets rated in the fucking portal, which has been harder for him in this. It was always a hard job, but it shifted to an extremely hard job the past couple years, because their whole roster gets you see them elsewhere in college football, and a lot of times they play well because he develops them well. But I to me, like, if you like seeing some of the coaches that get hired, you're just like, how the fuck does Chris Creighton's phone not ring? I'm assuming it does, and he just is content with where he's at. But I think he's a great football coach. You at number 1 have Jason Candle, which I can't shit on this because I think he's a very good coach as well. But tell me your logic on this.
Well, and you mentioned the 2 conference titles. I'll take it a step, like him being on with Matt Campbell before every step of the way and that winning. But the side note, Matt Campbell never won the MAC championship. So Candle's been able to do what Matt Campbell couldn't, and that's win 2. He's won over 73-40 now, 47-23 in MAC play. Dan's talking about he beats Power 4 teams all the time. And
they didn't stick it to Mississippi State last year. That was
great. It was fantastic. And then, of course, they beat Pitt in the bowl game, which was fantastic as well. So that's why he really went to number 1.
Now I know why. I forgot about that. Right?
Shout out to Narduzzi for fucking kicking the field goal on the 1 yard line.
Unbelievable.
He's been consistent, man. And I know he's supposed to win, but hey, sometimes these guys that are supposed to win don't win, and he's done that. I would like to see him get a 3rd one, though. That would really solidify, I think, his legacy at Toledo. And then let's see, he may jump to another gig if he gets that 3rd MAC championship.
Yeah, it's gonna be fascinating to watch this year.
He's only 45.
That's what I'm saying, man. I think, and remember, Crystal Ball wanted him as the Miami Hurricanes OC. He turned that down. Thankfully, Jason, stay, build your legacy at Toledo instead of that bullshit.
I'm kind of surprised none of these Power 4s have hired him, especially with how good Matt Campbell was going from Toledo to Iowa State. I would,
and he's a Mountain Union guy. Nick Sirianni also a Mountain Union. These Mountain Union coaching tree is fucking incredible. I would be shocked actually. I think, you talk about Cincinnati's job potentially opening up this next year. I think they'd probably interview Jason Candle I'm just making that assumption if Satterfield gets fired, which I think we're all thinking will happen. And I assume he'll probably get hired interviewed at some other spots too along the way this next coaching cycle. But yeah, Jason Candle number 1. We have the same top 6, just in different order. Mac's gonna be fun, man. Which one are you most surprised about? Was it the Moorhead one for me?
No, because I could see it. I went off of mainly his track record at Akron, and maybe it was just like you. I was maybe expecting more, and I've just been disappointed that they've sucked. But they did win their last 2 games last year. Maybe I was a little harder. I just went with the unknown guys over him. Is what I ended up doing.
Yeah.
I mean,
which is fair because 3 years at Akron, he hasn't. I thought he would be a little bit better thus far at Akron.
Yeah. Why can't anybody get it going at Akron a little bit? Like be around 5, like just do what Terry Bowden did at least.
Yeah. And dude, they were in a lot of these games. I watched Akron really closely because I had a shit ton of money on the over those first 2 years, which man, each time they would just do things. I remember they were running out they had a Herm Edwards situation where it was like they were running out the clock in a game where they fumbled the ball, and you're just like, good God, every fucking thing that they could do wrong happens. But yeah, that's maybe this is the year. Maybe that's the wacky Mac. You never know. Anyone can come up. You saw it finally. Ohio broke through. Maybe it's Jason Candle and Toledo back on top, or maybe it's a new coach or something like that. So anyway, we're going to be covering it here on the College Football Experience. Remember, we are like shit. Did they hit another homer? Tell me that.
Is it?
God damn it! God damn it! It's two solo bombs. It's never over, especially with relief pitching in college baseball. Yeah. But check out the College Baseball Experience, and remember, we're going to break down 136 teams starting in the next 72 hours there. So buckle up. 2-a-days. All right, this is the way we do things. Give Moneyline Mac a follow on Twitter at Moneyline_Mac. I'm on Twitter at TheColbyD. The College Football Experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. And don't forget YouTube.com/The College Experience. Subscribe, tell a friend. Till next time, this is the College Football Experience, Maction style. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.